Hello, Buddhas. Today we are going to be talking about why it feels so terrible and why you feel so when you lack. Now, Buddhas, before we get into today's main subject, I would just like you all to know that I have a link down below with a playlist that is accessible to all of the videos that I have made, and I will be updating it every single day, so please subscribe that you get the notification every time I upload, and know that there are over 100 binge-worthy videos down below for you to check out. Now, let's talk about feeling shitty. Yeah, I said it. It happens. We go through our moments in life where we don't feel so grand about stuff, and a lot of the time, that comes from a feeling of lack, a feeling of I don't have that, or a feeling of I had that and now I don't have that. And what is that really? Well, it actually came to me the other day in a meditation where I was thinking on this subject, and I allowed my mind to clear. Link below for more meditation and how to meditate videos that can give you these same insights, where a little voice in my head said that what I lack is not gone. So I paused for a moment and went, what do you mean? The thing that I want is not in my world right now. Let's say it's a relationship. The relationship with the woman that I desire is not currently in my three-dimensional space. But there's a very important word there, and that is the word currently. At our level of comprehension as human beings existing in this space-time, time-space paradigm thing, the soup of existence, we have a really hard time with time. It's like that level of intellectual computation that we're struggling at constantly. And that's actually kind of fun, but it can be a little bit of a downer when you say, hey, I had a really good time with this person, they're no longer a part of my life, I feel lack now. But remember, we had a video a while back, again, down below in that playlist, where I talked about why you actually feel negative emotions whatsoever. And to recap that video very quickly, you feel negative emotions because you are out of tune with your inner being. Now, this could be called anything, and I can get into it in more details in that other video, but your inner being essentially is your true self, your knowing, your larger expanse of understanding. And the way that I like to look at it is that my inner being is all versions of Alex ever. All the Buddhas, of all times. So from their perspective, remember, this is an inner there, right? The word there can be quite fun sometimes too in the English language, but an inner there, like to be possessive of someone else, they don't feel the lack of that person because to them, I'm still with that person. And I'm using a relationship example here just because it's easy to talk about and we'd be willing to bet that people miss people in their life. But if I objectively look at it and I take time out of the equation, then that person is in my life because they were in my life at one point. And remember that were is only a past tense of is, right? So if we remove time entirely from the equation, which doesn't sound doable but is entirely valid, then that person is in my life because they were in my life. And that doesn't mean to just dwell on memories. And that doesn't mean to just live in the past, but it means to accept the fact that the negative emotion you're feeling now, which you think is due to the lack of that person who was, again, just a past tense word in your life, is only valid due to the fact that your inner being doesn't see it that way. And when you start to look at things like this, because it is not an overnight kind of switch, although ultimately it is, but it's not an overnight process. When you start to look at the world where everything you've ever had you still have, because a version of you exists having it, then the feeling of lack starts to dissipate. The feeling of not enoughness starts to diminish. The feeling of I miss that person starts to subside. Because what you're doing is you're removing the importance, not specifically from that person, but from those past instances. And you are also removing the importance from that specific person. And you're bringing it back into yourself. Because, as we say at the end of every video, love yourself. And that's not just a joke or a fancy little catchphrase. That is ultimately, in my opinion, take it as you will, but in my opinion, one of the most important things that a human being can attain at this level. And learning to love myself has made all the difference in the world, so that when a memory comes up of a person whom I loved, who is no longer with me, I can say, wow, that was a splendid time, and I'm so happy and grateful to have made those memories with that person, and they will never go. But I don't need to dwell on those memories. I don't need to wallow in the past. I don't need to be in grief. I have the power, because my mind is an infinite, incredible spiritual machine, I have the power to acknowledge that and to say, hey, this is fantastic. Thank you, universe, for giving me those memories, those moments of time, and now I'm going to cherish them and love them when they come up. So that when they pop into my head, and they still do, I won't be out of tune with my inner self. And when that connection is made, when you are in tune with you, then you feel good no matter what is happening in the outside world. So Buddhas, remember, the most important thing, link down below for the playlist of all my videos, but other than that, the most important thing, Buddhas, is to love yourself.